A fireworks display capping off an all-day festival on the National Mall, marking the Army's 250th anniversary, also falling on President Trump's 79th birthday. Earlier on Saturday, more than 6,000 soldiers marched in period-by-period uniforms, stretching all the way back to the Continental Army as tanks rolled through the streets. Now, as many say this is a celebration of national pride, the parade also had many critics, ranging from the cost, up to $45 million, to the optics of the display, which some argue is closer to authoritarian countries like Russia and North Korea. And that was the message from many Americans who attended these so-called No Kings protests across the country Saturday to oppose President Trump's policies.
Our struggle for independence 250 years ago freed America from a king far away, and we will never yield to a king from Mar-a-Lago.
Law enforcement did deploy tear gas and other crowd control measures in places like Atlanta and Los Angeles, where police reported that rocks and fireworks were thrown at officers. In Portland, Oregon, police declared a riot as crowds protested in front of an ICE facility. But that said, those instances of confrontation did appear to be fairly isolated. Other reports suggest that those No Kings protests were largely peaceful. Live in Washington, I'm Jackie DeFusco, KCRA 3 News.
Jackie, thank you so much. And those protests across the country happen in all 50 states and in Northern California. And this comes after days of protest in LA over recent ICE raids and the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration and the use of the National Guard and Marines.
No kings! No kings! No kings! No kings! No kings!
Protesters in Sacramento, as you can see, chanted No Kings, and the No Kings protests rejected policies by the Trump administration. And KCRA 3's Peyton Headley has much more on the rallies that happened in our area.
All across our region, thousands gathered on Saturday participating in No Kings protests and largely criticizing the Trump administration, from immigration policies to the military parade in D.C.
I came out here because I think what's happening is horrible in this country, and I think we all need to stand up, because if we don't, it's just going to keep happening.
In Auburn, people surrounded the Placer County Courthouse, lining the steps and nearby sidewalks.
People are starting to realize what's going on, and they're standing up for their rights, which is the American way.
We're here to speak up for those who can't, those who are scared, our Hispanic community that can't come out because they're vulnerable.
More than 1,000 people gathered outside of the Galleria in Roseville.
This is what democracy looks like.
There, they chanted and held signs sharing their calls for change.
I've been terrified by what I've been seeing around me.
I've never seen anything like this in this country.
Livecopter 3 flew over a protest in Folsom. People were seen lining East Bidwell Street and the Highway 50 overpass, where they held American flags and hung a sign reading, No King.
No king! No king!
And in Sacramento, crowds covered the grounds outside the west steps of the state capitol.
The whole ICE situation and how he's attacking California, all of those things are just really upsetting to me, and it's just making me lose sleep.
We're fighting for kindness and we're fighting for fairness here today.
Some even took to the streets, marching across Tower Bridge. These rallies making up only a few of the nearly 2,000 locations across the country demonstrating against the Trump administration.
And new this morning, arrests were also made in Utah after one person was injured in a shooting at a protest in Salt Lake City. Video captured the sound of gunshots ringing out while about 10,000 people were marching. The victim was taken to the hospital and is said to be in critical condition. 3 people were taken into custody, including one man who police believe to be the shooter. The suspect also suffered a gunshot wound but is expected to be okay. Police in downtown Los Angeles used smoke and gas devices to clear protesters yesterday. The LAPD says that this happened after some demonstrators threw rocks, bottles, and other objects at its officers. In parts of downtown LA, a curfew remains in place. It went into effect earlier this week over ongoing protest over immigration raids. And you can find more coverage of yesterday's protests on our KSA3 YouTube page. Just scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe. There you can find a playlist to stay up to date to the latest developments. You can also find exclusive aerial video of the protests that happened across Northern California, captured by Live Copter 3. Now to a developing story out of Rancho Cordova, where detectives are busy investigating an early morning shooting. This happened at Saturn Drive at a house party at around 3 this morning. Deputies say an 18-year-old was shot multiple times, once in the hand and another in his knee. Investigators say the teen is expected to be okay. So far, no arrests have been made. This is a developing story. We'll keep you updated both on air and online when more information is available. Now to a developing story out of Minnesota, where police say an assassin remains on the loose, and Vance Bolter is accused of killing Democratic State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband in their home. Police say at the time of the shooting, Bolter was dressed as a police officer and managed to get away. He's also suspected of shooting Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman and his wife. Both are expected to survive. Police say inside Bolter's vehicle, officers found a hit list with the names of dozens of Minnesota Democrats along with abortion providers. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz spoke about the shooting, saying he was, quote, heartbroken.
Our state lost a great leader, and I lost the dearest of friends. Speaker Hortman was someone who served the people of Minnesota with grace, compassion, humor, and a sense of service. She was a formidable public servant, a fixture and a giant in Minnesota. She woke up every day determined to make this state a better place. She is irreplaceable, and we've been missed by so many. Minnesota's thoughts and prayers are with her family, her loved ones, her children, and her parents.
Flyers for the No Kings Day protest were also found in the suspect's car, prompting organizers to cancel the event. Authorities are investigating whether the suspect was motivated by extreme views on abortion. Governor Gavin Newsom responded to the deadly shooting, saying in part, "Our hearts break for Minnesota Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark. We pray for the recovery of Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette. Political violence against lawmakers must be off limits, period. No one should ever be targeted with violence for doing the people's work." Time right now is 7:10. Time for KSA3 weather on this